Good day. Your subject with me is English for academic and professional purposes. When we talk about English for academic purposes and professional, well, of course, this is a kind of subject that provide language instruction for academic study. And then language skills is being addressed, including listening, comprehension, fluency development, oral intelligibility, grammar, writing, and of course, vocabulary development. So, those are the things and the aspects that comprise with this subject. In this module, you will have to differentiate the language used in academic texts from various disciplines. Specifically, this module will help you to define what an academic language is. I will be giving you a thorough definition of what academic language is all about, and then identify the characteristics of an academic language and use academic language in academic writing. So, indeed, you will be tasked to write an academic writing using the academic language or the proper words in writing in terms of academic writing. So these are some of the objectives that we are going um, to pursue in our journey in this lesson. Well, of course, when we talk about academic language, it may be used to refer to formal English rules, structure, and content for academic dialogue and text. And of course, the communicative convention that allows students to meet the demands of school environments. In terms of concise definition, it refers to academic language as the specialized language, both oral and written. So, teacher like me or teachers play a very important role in helping and assisting students express their opinions, their views, their sentiments, thinking by merely developing academic language in them. So teachers always want the students to use language to convey understanding in school, meaning to say the teacher keeps on demanding the student to use appropriate word that would be useful for better understanding within the classroom. Learning academic language is vital because students who master it are more likely to be more successful in academic and professional settings. So it is beneficial to those students who are excelling in understanding more um, about academic language because they are able to absorb more the language being used or the jargons being used in different courses or different subject matter. So academic writing is a challenging but satisfying activity and it needs great preparations. What is that preparation? One of the necessary preparation, of course, is the language used. Meaning to say the language that we're going to use in writing. What are the proper words that might be acceptable or might be appropriate in terms of academic writing? So language use is a qualifying component of a text to be categorized as an academic text, meaning to say, to be considered as an academic text, you have to use the most acceptable words or language to be used in writing. Academic language or text is used in classroom setting, in textbook, teacher-made tests, and other forms of academic disciplines. those academic language is quite visible in your textbooks, right? So if you are very observant, okay, we can see some formal languages or formal language used by the teacher in their teacher-made test, and of course the wordings used by the authors or by the writers in the textbooks, right? And also in other forms of academic disciplines. Moreover, it includes a variety of formal language skills such as vocabulary, grammar, punctuation, syntax, and the likes. So not only that, because there are other components which is quite um, given more emphasis. First, vocabulary. Okay, the diction is quite necessary. Of course, the grammar, the proper tenses of the verb. So those are something that being considered in writing academic text or academic writing. The punctuations, the syntax, and others. So those are some other components which is being considered to make the writing considered as an academic writing. So this allows students to acquire knowledge, sorry, and academic skills needed to do the work of. In other words, academic language can always be associated with academic disciplines such as discourse features, grammatical constructions across different language domains. So it's not only in English language, but as well in other languages, in other forms of language used in writing. So we have here distinctive attributes rather of academic language. First, we have formality. Generally, academic writing is formal, where the following should be avoided, meaning to say the proper usage of words, it should be formal. And there are some words that we should avoid that might decline the recognition of the text to be academic. First, the usage of colloquial words and expressions and idiomatic expressions. Colloquial words like slang words or informal languages, for example, gonna. I'm go. I'm gonna go to. I'm gonna have a ride. Okay, instead of saying I'm going to have a ride. So that is a form of colloquial words. And then I want to dance. So to make it formal, it should be I want to dance. In terms of idiomatic expressions, like you are the apple of my eye. So it's not acceptable. Okay, because we are using that kind of informal language. So instead of saying you are the apple of my eyes, you will rather say you are my favorite student. That is more formal. Abbreviated words such as can't, doesn't, should not, and others. Let's say, for example, you're writing a business letter, or let's say a formal letter. These are not acceptable. So you have to make it more complete, not abbreviated, just like cannot, does not, should not. Okay? And then two-word verbs such as put up, bring up. So that is also not acceptable. Expanded terms over their abbreviated equivalents such as soon as possible instead of ASAP. So we're not going to use I have to see you in my class ASAP. So instead of saying that, you're going to say, I want to see you as soon as possible. That will be more acceptable. The second one we have here, precision. Precision is a term in academic writing. Facts, figures, graphs, illustrations are given precisely. The exactness and accuracy of the data presented are visible. Writer is advised to choose several workers when he or she can use 10 million workers. You see the difference between the two phrases. So we have here several workers, meaning to say it's not definite, it's not precise. What if we're going to say 10 million workers, we have we have specified it as 10 million workers. So it's more comprehensive. There is precision. So if we're going to say other conjunction like few, right? So that is also not acceptable. So there must be precision of the terminologies or the facts, the figures that we're going to stipulate in writing. The second one is the explicitness. The writer makes sure that the various parts of the text are related to one another, free from obscurity and easy to understand. There are some writers who are using more complex sentences or compound complex sentence, wherein they can make it very simple, direct to the point. So as you can see, um, in terms of academic writing, we have to avoid using words which are not necessary. If we can make the sentence simpler, we have to omit some unnecessary words that only bring confusion to the statement. So that is explicitness. Then we have here the so-called the accuracy. Academic writing uses vocabulary and statistics accurately that conform to correct value or standard. A writer chooses the appropriate word, let's just say meeting, assembly, gathering, and conference. So as you can see, these words are just almost the same. So these are incorrect value. There must be um, proper, what do you call that? The proper diction, the proper choices of words that would be accurate enough to be used in the statement. So that is accuracy. The second one is hedging. Writer makes decision about his or her stance on a particular subject. The strength of the claim must be considered. He or she um, uses cautious language. So hedging, people yes use hedge language for several different purposes, but perhaps the most fundamental, for example, is to minimize the possibility of another academic opposing the claims that are being made. Or let's say, or it could be also to conform to the currently accepted style of academic writing. And also, it is the author's device, a politeness strategy where they are able to acknowledge that there may be flaws in their claims. So, in terms of, so we have here some words wherein applicable to be used in hatching so that we could be able to have a proper stance in our claim. For example, introductory verbs. So we have our seem, be sure, tend, indicate, look like, appear to be, think, believe, and doubt. And then we have our certain lexical verbs like believe, assume, suggest. For example, in a sentence, I believe that. So you are making a strong stance that this is your perspective. I assume that, or I suggest that, something like that. Certain modal verbs like I will, must, would, may, might, could. Also adverbs of frequency like often, sometimes, usually. For example, you will say, sometimes I go to the market. So there is a certain claim there. Modal verbs like certainly, definitely, clearly, probably, perhaps, conceivably. Also modal adjectives like certain, definite, clear, probable, possible. Also phrases like on the whole, more or less, and the last that clauses. It could be that case, it could be the case that, or it might be suggested that, there is very hope that. So those are some words or phrases that might be applicable in terms of hedging. For example, it may be said that the commitment to some of the social and economic concepts was less strong than it is now. So it may be said. So as you can see, there is a certain claim. It might be that the person stating this statement is unsure or not certain enough. Or the second statement is the lives they choose may seem overly ascetic and self-denying to most women today. So we have here the clause may seem, or the phrase may seem, right? So you are in between. There is uncertainty. So meaning to say you are having a certain claim here. So that is hedge. Another one is responsibility. Writer must be responsible for demonstrating an understanding of any source text used. All evidences and justification are provided to support the claims. Moreover, the writer has to paraphrase and summarize the read academic text and acknowledge the source of ideas and information through proper citation. For example, when you're writing the thesis, it is a big disrespect to the original writer of the statement if we're not going to give proper citation to the person. But if we're not going to cite the real author, it is a form of plagiarism because there is no recognition given to the real author. So we are responsible to our writing. And then, of course, organization. Academic writing is well organized where ideas are presented in a logical manner, meaning to say there must be unity in the sentence and the sentences in or within the paragraph. And of course, the paragraph within the certain article or composition. There must be coherence. The statement, the idea must be well organized. So those are the distinctive attributes of academic language. So enjoy learning.